In the summer of 1998, the world's most watched sporting event was about to take place. I was 12 years old, ready to watch my first World Cup as a young, excited teenager. As the anticipation increased, commercials and video games filled up the screens, but no one could have predicted the reality. Like a script from a movie, this tournament had everything. Big names, heroes, villains, surprises, politics, and a dramatic ending that will keep people talking for decades later and is still a mystery to this day. The 1998 FIFA World Cup was more than just football. France '98 was different from the very beginning. For the first time, the competition presented a new type of format, as we know today, expanding to 32 teams in 8 groups, and lasted 32 days. It is the longest World Cup tournament in history. The host was France, a nation with a rich history of football, but never won the World Cup title before. With the increasing of immigration and racial diversity in France, the French squad was built mostly of immigrants and sons of immigrants, and were the subject of criticism by some French politicians, claiming that the French team did not look French. With many concerns and doubts, the real challenge was on the field. The clear favorites were the all-time leading and defending champions Brazil, which had the world's biggest football superstar, Ronaldo, who just won FIFA World Player of the Year for the second time in a row, the first player ever to do so, and the youngest, at the age of just 20. Joined by players like Rivaldo and Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo was the poster boy and the face of the tournament. He appeared everywhere. Commercials, collectible cards, posters. Other teams were trying to come up with different ways to stop him, and for a good reason. On June 10, 1998, the biggest sporting event in the world began. From the first whistle of the opening game, Brazil left no room for doubt. They're here to win. Brazil opened the World Cup beating Scotland in the first match of the tournament, and continued to show their incredible skills to the entire world as they finished in the top of their group.
The usual left foot, and now we get a look at the player that was voted the best player in the world. They call him the phenomenon, the extraterrestrial, and this is why. Look at him juke 1, 2, 3 players again.
At the same time, the host France showed a strength of their own, led by their number 10, Zinedine Zidane, and a young forward named Thierry Henry, as they beat all the teams in their group, including Laudrup and Schmeichel's Denmark, and proceeded to the knockout stage. One of the biggest surprises of the tournament was Croatia in their first ever World Cup, and their impressive striker, Davor Šuker. While the group stage provided some exciting moments, it was the knockout stage when things started to heat up. The round of 16 brought together Argentina and England and their historic rivalry. It's been 12 years since one of the most famous and controversial World Cup matches with Diego Maradona and the Hand of God. England were looking for revenge in one of the most nerve-wracking matches of the tournament. Within 5 minutes of the opening whistle, Argentina wins a penalty, and the star striker Gabriel Batistuta does what he does best. Just 4 minutes later, and it's a penalty for England. Alan Shearer, England's captain, delivers a perfect ball into the net. At the 16th minute, David Beckham sent a clever pass to 18 years old Michael Owen, who outran the Argentinian defense and scored an amazing goal. But Argentina had a trick of their own, and at the last minute of the first half, they won a free kick and scored one of the most brilliant goals in football. But the drama was far from over when 2 minutes into the second half, England star David Beckham received a red card after kicking Argentina's captain Diego Simeone. With 10 players remaining, England managed to score another goal, but it was denied by the referee, who called a foul by Alan Shearer. With a tie score, the game went to penalties. After 12 years since they last met at the World Cup, history repeats itself and Argentina beats England again. But the English are not the only ones seeking a revenge against the Argentinians, who are waiting for them at the quarterfinals. The Dutch national team is known to be the best team to never win a World Cup, after reaching the final twice, losing the last one to Argentina. But this golden generation is not going to give up so easily. The Dutch are known for their creative, unique style of play, and in the last minute of the game, Frank de Boer sends a long ball to Dennis Bergkamp, who creates a magical moment and scores the most beautiful goal of the tournament, and perhaps one of the most beautiful goals of all time. The Dutch commentator will agree.
Dennis Bergkamp neemt de bal aan. Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp!
The Netherlands proceeded to the semifinals, where they met the mighty Brazil. The Dutch had determination and persistence, but Brazil had Ronaldo. As the game is almost coming to an end, Patrick Kluivert finally finds the net with the equalizer. The game went to penalties, and Brazil secured a spot in the final. Meanwhile, France beat Paraguay with a golden goal and Italy in penalties as they advanced to the semifinals against the surprise of the tournament, Croatia, and their unstoppable goal scorer as they just beat Germany at the quarterfinals. Croatia strikes first as Ziko scores in the first 24 seconds of the second half after French defender Lilian Thuram gets caught out of position, but then, almost exactly 1 minute later, a surprise from an unexpected hero. That same defender, Lilian Thuram, who has never scored for the national team before, levels the score. But it's not over. 23 minutes later, he does it again and leaves everyone speechless, including the French team, who cannot believe that defender just saved the day and took them to the final. Those two goals were the only goals Thuram has ever scored for the national team in his entire career. What a timing. Croatia ended up winning the third place against the Netherlands, and Davor Ziko won the top scorer of the tournament. And so it was down to two. Brazil against the hosts, France. Brazil hasn't lost a final in 48 years. France has never been in a World Cup final before. On July 12, the final game was about to take place, but something was not right. About an hour before kickoff, Brazil's most important player and the world's biggest football star, Ronaldo, didn't appear on the official team starting lineup. The media described it as chaos. How can it be that Ronaldo is not playing in the most important match, the final? Rumors started to grow related to Ronaldo's health. Some claims about bribes and sponsorship. However, just half an hour later, Brazil released another team lineup, and this time, Ronaldo's name was on the list. According to officials, Ronaldo suffered a severe fit. To this day, there's many speculations and conspiracies about what exactly happened that day, but one thing is for sure, Ronaldo was not himself. As the game began, he looked tired, out of balance, and kept losing the ball. This was not the same Ronaldo that we know. And while Brazil was struggling with their star, France took advantage. 27 minutes into the game, Zinedine Zidane scored a header from a corner kick by Petit. About 20 minutes later, he does it again as he leaps over Ronaldo. 2 goals for France. As the teams approached the end of the second half, it was then Petit's turn to score at the 3rd minute of extra time and nail the victory. 3-0. It's over. For the first time in history, France wins the World Cup in their own country just 2 days before Bastille Day, the national day of France. The streets were filled with celebrations and Zinedine Zidane was a national hero. He won the finals man of the match, and Ronaldo was awarded as FIFA's outstanding player of the tournament. FIFA president described this tournament by saying, "It will remain with me forever, as I'm sure it will remain with everyone who witnessed this unforgettable competition." Zidane will go on to win the Ballon d'Or and to be considered as one of the best players of all time, and France will continue to be one of the dominant teams in world football for years to come. But it was here when it all started and a new era began. These are just some of the memories and moments of this amazing World Cup. To me, it will forever be a one-of-a-kind event that represents a special time in history of changes, willpower, and nostalgia. The tournament that made me fall in love with the game.